Ever feel like the internet itself is conspiring against you getting work done? Especially when you're on deadline and suddenly Oracle CPQ slows to a crawl.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, today's deep dive is all about what's going on behind the scenes and how you, yes, why you, can navigate those performance hiccups like a pro.
It's all about understanding the system's built-in defenses against total overload and how to make those defenses work for you, not just mysteriously in the background.
I love it. It's like learning the secret handshake to avoid those peak hour panic attacks.
Exactly.
And speaking of which, we have to talk about overcrowded mode.
Right.
The name alone sounds a little ominous, right?
It sounds more dramatic than it is. Think of it as Oracle CPQ's way of playing bouncer at the club. When the system senses things are getting really crowded, too many users, too much processing happening at once, it triggers this mode to prevent a full-blown crash.
Okay, so instead of everyone suffering through a site meltdown, it's like saying capacity reached, hold the line. But what exactly does that mean for someone like me actually trying to use CTQ?
It means that if you're already logged in and working, you're golden. You can keep going without interruption. But if you try to log in during overcrowded mode, well, you're going to be stuck outside until things calm down a bit.
So that explains those times I've stepped away for coffee, come back, and bam, can't log back in. It's not just me, it's strategic crowd control.
Exactly. And it's not just about manual logins either. Any process that requires a new session integrations using REST or ASAP, e-signatures, even those quick registrations, they all get put on pause until the system stabilizes.
Wow, so it's really prioritizing those who are already in the system and keeping things running smoothly for them. But how would I even know if Oracle CPQ is in this overcrowded mode? Does it send me a carrier pigeon?
Not quite. Oracle CPQ keeps a little diary of its own called the performance log. This log specifically records every time the site enters or exits overcrowded mode, giving you a time-stamped record of these events.
Okay, a digital diary, much more efficient. Where do I find this log? I have a feeling it's going to become my new best friend.
You'll find it under Admin Developer Tools Performance Log. It's a great place to check if you're experiencing slowdowns or login issues, just to confirm if overcrowded mode is the culprit.
Got it. Bookmarked. Now, on to another topic that I know can cause its fair share of headaches, timeouts. It feels like a universal law of technology that things will always take a bit longer than you want them to.
It's all about managing expectations, right?
Yep.
Timeouts are especially relevant when it comes to those BML URL access functions. Now, before your eyes glaze over, let me explain what those are.
Please do, because I'll admit that sounds a little intimidating.
It's simpler than it sounds. Think of BML URL access functions as Oracle CPQ's way of reaching out to other systems to grab information. You're basically sending a request to another server and saying, hey, I need this data.
Okay, so it's like sending a text message to another system and hoping they text back quickly.
Exactly. And just like with a text, sometimes you get left on read. That's where timeouts come in. If that other server takes too long to respond, Oracle CPQ isn't going to just sit there twiddling its thumbs. It'll trigger a timeout.
That makes sense. You don't want the entire system grinding to a halt because one external call is taking its sweet time. But tell me, are all timeouts created equal? I imagine different situations might call for different responses, right?
You're right, and Oracle CPQ gives you some options here. Take the function called URL data by post, for example. You can actually configure it to return a specific error message if a timeout occurs. Or with URL data, you'll get a different type of error message with a status code. Each function handles these situations a bit differently.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all approach to timeouts.
Not at all. Each function has its own personality, I suppose you could say. But the underlying principle is to handle those no-response situations gracefully, without bringing the whole system down.
Yeah.
And that's where understanding these nuances can be really helpful for you. Because if you know, for instance, that a particular function tends to time out more often, you can adjust your workflows or expectations accordingly.
It's all about working smarter, not harder, right? Instead of getting frustrated, you understand why these timeouts happen and can plan around them. I like it.
Exactly. It's like they say, knowledge is power.
True, true.
Speaking of which, let's shift gears and talk about what you can control.
Okay.
Even beyond these automatic safety nets Oracle CPQ has in place. Because as admins, you have some pretty cool tools at your disposal.
Oh, I love admin superpowers.
Right.
Less, why is this happening? And more, I've got this, what can we do?
Remember that overcrowded mode banner we talk about?
Yeah.
You have the power to make sure your users aren't left in the dark when it kicks in. You can enable that banner for all your full access users.
Yeah. Oh, so instead of everyone thinking the site is down and frantically refreshing,
Right.
they get a friendly heads up. Genius.
Exactly. Transparency goes a long way in keeping everyone calm and productive. And speaking of staying informed, you can also set up email alerts to be sent whenever the site enters or exits overcrowded mode.
Okay, that's super helpful for us admins who need to know what's going on. But what about the emails themselves? What kind of intel do they provide?
These aren't your average something happened emails. You get a precise timestamp,
Okay.
but not just any timestamp. It's synced to the site server's time.
Oh, wow.
Crucial for pinpointing exactly when those overcrowded modes occurred. Plus, you'll see the exact resource percentage that triggered the event, along with the threshold you've set.
So it's like getting a little detective report delivered straight to my inbox.
Precisely. Actionable information is key. And while we're on the topic of taking control, you're not stuck with Oracle CPQ's default timeout settings either.
Oh. Time to bring out those admin wrenches and do some fine-tuning. I'm listening.
You got it.
Yeah.
Remember the BML URL access function timeout we discussed earlier? You have the power to adjust that,
Okay.
giving those external system calls a bit more breathing room if you know they tend to run a little long.
So if we have a system that's a bit of a slow talker, we can give it a little extra time to respond before Oracle CPQ throws in the towel.
Precisely. And this level of customization extends to your integrations too. Whether you're using XSL or middleware, fine-tuning those timeout settings can make all the difference.
This is where really knowing your own systems and integration points comes into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to strike that balance between preventing unnecessary timeouts and making sure your system isn't held hostage by one slowpoke. And here's another cool thing. You get to decide what happens when a timeout occurs. You can either set things up so the process halts completely,
Yeah.
or tell it to try and soldier on. Action on timeouts, they call it.
So it's like choosing between hitting the brakes or gently nudging the accelerator. This is amazing. It's clear that Oracle CPQ gives admins a lot of control over how the system handles these situations.
It's not just about reacting to issues, but proactively fine-tuning to match your needs.
Right.
Now, on the topic of being proactive, let's talk about preventing some sneaky performance gremlins. Line item looping.
Line item looping. Okay, now you're just messing with me.
It's a real thing. It used to be a bit of a headache. Imagine your system getting stuck in a loop, processing the same line items over and over again. Not exactly a recipe for speed, right?
Not at all. Sounds like a recipe for frustration, more like.
Thankfully, Oracle CPQ has implemented some clever safeguards. It all boils down to how they handle subdocument attribute defaults and commerce rules. These safeguards essentially prevent those infinite loop scenarios from ever happening.
So no more line item merry-go-round. That's a relief.
Exactly, and it doesn't stop there. They also address something called advanced line default looping.
Okay, I'm getting flashbacks to my computer science classes. What's the deal with that one?
Essentially, this type of looping happens specifically during the processing of those advanced line defaults.
Okay.
It wasn't a system crasher, but it could definitely bog things down, especially if you were dealing with a lot of line items.
So another performance bottleneck tackled.
Yeah.
How do they solve it?
They introduced a nifty little property called run scripts, once for all line items.
Okay.
As the name suggests, instead of running scripts repeatedly for each and every line item, it now does it just once for the entire batch. Efficiency win.
Streamlining at its finest. Love it when those small changes make a big difference.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, we can't forget about printing.
Oh, yeah.
When printing goes wrong, things can go from 0 to frustrating pretty quickly.
Tell me about it. Printer issues are the worst. What's Oracle CPQ's secret weapon for keeping those print queues running smoothly?
Logs, my friend. But not just any logs. We're talking about 3 specific logs that hold the key to printer peace of mind.
Ooh.
You've got your bmprint.log for general print errors.
Okay, so if a print job fails, I go there to see what went wrong. What else?
Then there's the bmprintxslfo.log. This one's a bit more specialized. It actually contains the XSLFO code used for the print job. Super handy if you need to troubleshoot formatting issues or want to see exactly what's happening under the hood.
So it's like having X-ray vision into the printing process. And what
Okay.
about the last one?
Yes, the printserverd.log. This one's all about performance. It helps you identify bottlenecks,
Okay.
like those pesky, slow-running print threads that can really clog up the works.
So between these 3 logs, it's like having a team of print detectives at my fingertips. I can get to the bottom of almost any printing issue. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from preventing system meltdowns to outsmarting timeouts to becoming print queue ninjas. But at the end of the day, all this tech talk boils down to one thing. How does it impact the actual business of using Oracle CPQ?
Now you're speaking my language. And thankfully, Oracle CPQ is making it easier than ever to connect the dots between those technical details and the metrics that really matter to your bottom line.
Because what good is all this performance power if we can't see how it translates into real-world results? So what kind of insights are we talking about?
Let's start with APIs, those behind-the-scenes connectors that keep your systems talking to each other.
Right.
You can now get a detailed breakdown of how many API licenses you're consuming,
Yeah.
the total number of e-commerce interactions, even your overall disk space usage.
So no more flying blind when it comes to our API usage. That's huge. Where do I find these nuggets of API wisdom?
Head over to General Site Options API Metrics. You'll be able to download a handy-dandy CSV file with all the details.
Music to my data-loving ears. Now, what about login activity? I imagine that's a pretty good indicator of how much CPQ is actually being used.
Absolutely. You can track how many internal users and partner users you have, see how many are actively logging in, and even get a percentage breakdown of active users versus total users.
Okay, now we're talking user adoption and potential bottleneck identification. Same drill for downloading that data.
Almost. For all things login related, you'll go to General Site Options Login Metrics. Once again, a convenient CSV file awaits.
Perfect. Now let's talk about the heart of it all, quoting. That's what Oracle CPQ is all about, right?
Couldn't agree more. Under Commerce Settings Quoting Metrics, you can unlock a treasure trove of insights, including the total number of quotes generated, neatly categorized by internal versus partner quotes.
Talk about having a finger on the pulse of sales activity. This gives us a real-time snapshot of how effectively everyone's using the system to get those quotes out the door.
And if you really want to optimize your quoting performance, and I have a feeling you do, there are even more granular metrics available.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. Tell me more.
If you have application logging and response time logging enabled, and if you don't, put that on your to-do list, you can actually track the average time it takes to create a new quote.
Wow, that's getting specific.
And it gets better. You can also see the 90th percentile response time for, quote, creation, which is helpful for identifying those outlier cases where things might be slowing down.
Okay, now we're talking about next-level optimization. Having access to that kind of data is a game changer.
It's all about making informed decisions, right?
Absolutely.
And speaking of decisions, let's leave our listeners with this final thought.
Okay.
We've covered a ton of ground today, from understanding how Oracle CPQ keeps things running smoothly to uncovering those hidden performance gems. But remember, this isn't just about technical wizardry. It's about empowering you to make CPQ work harder and smarter for your business.
Because at the end of the day, a high-performing CPQ system means happier users, happier customers, and a healthier bottom line.
Exactly. So go forth, optimize, and watch those performance gains roll in.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of Oracle CPQ performance management. Until next time, may your systems run smoothly, your quotes flow effortlessly, and your coffee stay hot.